Hey teachers, if you're back at work this week, I just hope that you are being safe and that precautions are in place to just give you the safest and your students the safest experience possible. These are stressful times for all of us, so no happy, funny birthday greetings or anything today. I just want to say I feel you, stay safe, and I hope these reviews today can just give you an escape for about 5 to 8 minutes. You can just listen to me drone on about some comics and graphic novels that may bring some light into your life in very interesting times. Thanks for watching. I'm the comics teacher. Okay, no ongoing series today because I have some other stuff I want to talk to you about. The nonfiction book in particular, there are 2 nonfiction books that I want to talk about, both from Don Brown. A couple weeks ago, I talked about New Orleans AD, After the Deluge, New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, by Josh Neufeld. That was a piece of reporting, graphic novel reporting about what happened during Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And this is an amazing companion piece to it. It's Drowned City. Don Brown does these amazing shorter graphic novels. This one is called The Great American Dust Bowl, right? And it's about the Dust Bowl that swept through the country almost 100 years ago. And it is, these books are, I'm going to say, you know, they're short. They're about 80 pages, and a lot of them have a lot of blank space on the pages. A lot of them don't have a lot of words on the pages, but they are just chock full of interesting facts and tidbits and research. I mean, I love this Hurricane Katrina book. You know, it's one of the things that I like to bring into my class when I am talking about New Orleans after the deluge. I've always had a couple of these on hand for students that want to follow up and do a little bit more research on that time in American history. And I mean, if you just look at like the source notes and the bibliography for this one short graphic novel, it's pretty immense, right? So you're going to get a bang for your buck with these Don Brown books. I think they are written for a younger audience, but they're also really dense and offer an opportunity for adults and older readers to learn a lot about American history through his books. So if you are interested in incorporating some really good nonfiction books into your classroom that aren't 200-300 pages, I would check out the books of Don Brown and add them to your classroom collection. All right, so for your classroom, so earlier this month, I talked about Park Bench, and I know a few people out there went and got it, and they messaged me, and they talked about how much they loved it and thanked me for the recommendation for Park Bench. This one immediately, like people who read Park Bench went to this one right away, and I knew that would happen. So I do want to talk about Alone by Chaboute. This also does not have it does have some words, unlike Park Bench, which is just about a park bench and doesn't have a lot of words. This one does have a few words, primarily because of what it is about. Let me tell you what this is about. So this book follows a man who was born with some physical abnormalities in a lighthouse, and his parents were kind of embarrassed of him, so they just kind of like left him there, and they pay some fishermen to deliver supplies once a month or whatever it may be. And the only thing, he knows how to read, he knows how to talk, so he can write correspondence to the people who are bringing him these supplies, although they've never had communications before. But the only thing he has is a dictionary. And he throws it up, and it lands, and it opens to a word, and he points to a random word, and then he imagines in his head what that word is, because he's never been out in the real world. So it's a lot about being secluded and where your mind goes, and just the wonderment of life. And he's constantly curious about what is on the other side of the water that he is trapped behind. And I don't want to ruin anything or saying anything else about this book from there. I will say that the pages are numbered, which is great for a graphic novel. There are about 365 pages in this book. I knocked it out very quickly because, like Chaboute's other books, there are a lot of pages that are just massive panels, very expressive. The black and white does wonders. I do enjoy color in my graphic novels, but his books do not need them. So this is a one of exploration, right? This is one that you're going to read, and when you're done with it, it's going to make you think, it's going to make you reflect a little bit, and I love when a graphic novel can do that. This is not basic, this is not boring, but it is approachable at many different levels, which is another thing graphic novels can do really well. So you'll get as much out of this book as you want to. I really like the ending. I think the ending of this book really ties it up very nicely. It's a very satisfying read. So this is Alone by Chaboute for your class book this week. All right. This week, I read 3 number 1s that came out. We had Shadow Service, and this was from Vault Comics. We had Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists by Scout Comics, which I think is a really cool title, and this cover is really good. I was very excited to kind of get into this one, just judging the book by its cover and its title. And then finally, this one is called Voyage to the Stars by IDW. This is the one that I picked out of the 3 that I enjoyed the most. I think these 2 get, I don't know, you know, none of these were amazing, right? None of these, like, I have to put on my pull list immediately. They're interesting. And if you want to go research what these 2 are about a little bit more, see if you're interested in picking those up, you can. But I'm going to focus myself on this one. This also isn't like a ridiculously innovative storyline. It's about a group of space explorers that are trying to fight this evil, and they basically awaken the chosen one, and the leader of the ship here, he's like, wait a second, I'm the guy who's kind of leading this, and a bunch of crazy stuff happens. This book looks very kiddie, right? IDW, they put out some kiddie type books sometimes, and you look at this cover, and I mean, you look at the art on the inside. Let me give you a good example here of the art on the inside. And you're like, oh, wow, it's very colorful. You know, this may be one for like YA teenagers. It's not. It opens with a couple testicle jokes and some F-bombs, and you're just like, okay, this is something that looks kiddie but is not kiddie, very much like that Harley Quinn cartoon that is now on HBO Max. If you haven't watched that, very surprising. The cartoon, it looks very cartoony, and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be cute, and then she's dropping F-bombs all over the place, and you're like, what's happening? So that is kind of the team. There's a huge team here, right? It should be hardcover. I'm going to give props to some of the people who worked on this book. It's Ryan Koppel. We have James Asmus, Connie Didon, Reggie Graham. The list goes on and on. It's like I'm thanking all my family at the Oscars, but you know, a lot of the comics have massive amounts of people working to produce works of art like this every month. It is not easy to do. So this IDW pick is my number 1 selection of the week. That if I was going to read any of these 3 issue 2, this would be the first one I would read issue 2 of. For you, last one today. This is a special one. I already got a couple people at work I want to lend this book to when I'm done. I don't think I've talked about this book yet. I need to start making a list of the books that I've talked about. But if you've heard me speak at any conferences, I always reference this book. It is called Here. This is by Richard McGuire. This book is so interesting because it does something that like you can't really do much in any other medium other than comics and graphic novels in this way. And basically what happens is this book, I'm going to line this line up right here with the picture on my wall. Dang, look at that, looks cool. So let's do this like this. So this book takes place like here. What does that mean? It's like a given place in time, and it goes from like 5,000 BC to like 30,000, year 5,000, 40,000, and what is taking place on Earth here, right? And in the corner of each page, like here's 2, right in that corner, it has 2015, and then there's a box here. This is happening at this space in 1988. And then you turn the page and it's like, here's what's happening in 1775 and also in 1998. Cool thing about it is some of the characters are kind of recurring, because if we're in here in 2016 and then we're in here 2019, those same people might own that house. So you might see a couple people coming in and out. If you want to try to follow some of those storylines, you can, but it is not necessary to enjoy this book. This idea of what is happening in one given place in time is very interesting. It's a think piece. It's a graphic novel unlike any I've ever read before. I love the hardcover version. If you are looking for an interesting graphic novel to add to your collection, yeah, you got to have this on your shelf. Here by Richard McGuire. And this is, I believe, Pantheon. Pantheon does this one. All right, I'm going to wrap up, guys. so we can continue our week. I appreciate you being here, and hopefully you go pick up a couple of these books and subscribe. I was gonna do the Hot Ones challenge, but I'm not at 100 subscribers yet. I'm at 90 as of recording this video. So get me those 10 more subscribers, and next week I will do the Hot Ones challenge while I review the books. It's gonna be terrible for me, but probably fun for you. So the book for you today is Here by Richard McGuire from Pantheon Books. Your comic, #1 comic for the week is IDW's Voyage to the Stars, so you can go pick up that one to your local comic books. Speaking of local comic book shops, I want to give Alternate Reality a shout out. It is my favorite comic book store. 111th and Kedzie, beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Chicago. If you are ever in the Chicagoland area, stop by Alternate Reality. Tell Tim Comics Teacher sent you. It is an amazing store. The classroom book today is Chaboute's Alone from Gallery 13 Books. And your nonfiction books today, I did 2 of them, were Don Brown's The Great American Dust Bowl and Drowned City, Hurricane Katrina, New Orleans. 2 amazing nonfiction books to add to your classroom. That does it for us today, everybody. Thank you for watching and continuing to watch and subscribing and just kind of being here and hanging out and talking comics with me. Please comment below if you've read any of the books and what you think about them, and I will see you next week. Be safe out there, teachers. I got your back.